Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Easy TV. Thank you for tuning in once again, and as usual, if it's your first time here, I appreciate you checking out the channel and possibly considering subscribing. And if all of you watching this video could just go down, take half a second and smash that thumbs up button, it would be greatly appreciated. But as you can tell by the title today, we have a pair of Adidas shoes, and we're actually gonna unbox them here straight out the packaging. As you can see here, first things first, when I picked these up off my doorstep, I just felt like the box was noticeably lighter than usual. Of course, there are multiple factors apart from just the weight of the shoe that factors into that, but just a quick observation. I know there's like the listed weight of the shoe on the Adidas page, which I believe for this pair is like 9.5 ounces. But let's get them right out of the box, unbox them, get my first impression, and then we'll talk a little bit about why I really wanted to see these in hand, how I acquired them, and things like that. Here is the box, and to be honest, I didn't expect this. I expected like a regular Adidas box, or like a box you would find the Ultra Boost in, or if you've seen my other video I've done on a pair of 40s, a box like that. We get a totally different box. The Adidas Parley there, and for the Oceans, more Adidas Parley branding over there, and then of course the tag. The reason why the box is like this, I would assume, I don't know for a fact, is that this is probably some sort of recycled cardboard or something like that. So as you open it, you got your wrapping paper there. So here's the wrapping paper. We got kind of like a map here, and it says Great Barrier Reef for the ocean. So I'm assuming this is kind of a map of the Great Barrier Reef. All right, and there's a QR code here, which I will check out, but which I would assume would lead to some website about like kind of Adidas's Parley thing or the mission with saving the planet. Here are the shoes. Get both pairs side by side in this mostly white colorway, with some like creamish, off-whitish hits. All right, so here's the shoe for the first time in hand for me. I have had the 4D midsole in hand before. They've had the 4D out for a little bit now. It's not super new, it's relatively new. I'm sure as the years go on, they'll definitely iterate on it and make better and better versions of it. But the whole basic idea, again, I already have a 4D video up of the alpha edges, but is that they 4D print this midsole. Comes out of like a vat of like polymer, liquid or whatever. There's a lot of air in there, there's some gaps. So I guess it is a way for them to kind of lighten the weight a little bit, because this material is definitely significantly denser or heavier than like Boost. I actually copped these off of the Adidas app. They had them as kind of a raffled shoe. And I knew, I definitely didn't buy these for resale. I knew they weren't really gonna resell or anything like that. I've had prior experiences as far as the resale game goes, so I didn't buy them for resale. I did buy these in my size 10 for a reason, because I really wanted to see them in hand, and I really wanted to see Adidas and their best attempt at putting together two of their I would say most innovative technologies. First things first, let's talk about this whole Parley thing. This whole like Adidas Ocean Parley thing is like they're gonna use recycled materials, recycled plastics that are commonly found on the beach, in the ocean, and things like that to make their products. I think at first when they came out, they were kind of really hyped, and there was some resale value to the original ones, but now it's kind of become a more common technology for the company. Kind of like when Boost first came out, it was very, very hyped, and now it's like a flagship thing for them. So that's the whole Parley thing. And these of course are called the Adidas Parley 4Ds. And so it's combining that 4D technology, which is kind of their next gen innovative cushioning technology per se, even though we can have a whole debate on how it compares to Boost, with their, what's supposed to be their most innovative kind of a technology they would put on the upper of a shoe, which is the whole Primeblue thing. So we know what Prime Knit is, and this is technically does have Prime Knit on it, but it's kind of a form of Prime Knit because it uses Primeblue as well, which is kind of that recycled yarn, that recycled textile they use. There's no virgin polyesters, meaning that it, basically all their polyester they use in this shoe has some kind of recycled form in it, therefore reducing the amount of kind of energy it takes to make them and making it more green. And I just want to read you a quick little numbers they throw on the page to kind of promote their shoe, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So they say that, right, there's the Parley Ocean Plastic in the shoe, but there's something that kind of stood out to me and I kind of want to talk about, which is they said that 50% of the upper is the textile, and that 75% of the textile is Primeblue yarn. So they're saying 50% of the upper is this recycled textile that they have, that's green, that's eco-friendly, but then that 75% of that 50% is the Primeblue yarn, is the recycled, good for the ocean yarn. So it's a little bit confusing, right? Because it's 50% is textile, they don't really specify too much, and then 75% of the 50% is kind of what this whole shoe is based on, this whole recycled, clean, eco-friendly nature of it. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I really like innovation. I like seeing these companies, especially when it comes to the apparel and footwear, really innovate. Like when Boost came out, I just really liked it. Not because I thought, of course, it was an amazing cushioning technology, but it was innovation. I love seeing the way we developed, right? Nike, we used to use Lunarlon a lot, and now we're onto Zoom and different types of Zoom and things like that. So I love seeing innovation when it comes to this sector. But I think we're kind of at an inflection point right now. We're at a time when these brands are slowly but surely starting to recognize that sustainability and using recycled materials is not only something important to their consumers, but it's important to them. I have a big problem, which is from first glance, I actually really like this shoe. I mean, this is totally something I would wear, but I have a problem. These were $250, right? And on top of that, they had to release it via the Adidas app, which kind of tells me at least that you released it via the Adidas app as a raffle because this can't sell itself. This on the shelf next to an Ultra Boost, whatever the newest Ultra Boost is, I think they just came out with the 21s. This sitting on the shelf next to the Ultra Boost 21 is not gonna sell itself. One, people are gonna say, oh, it's cool, they're gonna pick it up, they're gonna look at it, they're gonna feel it, and you know, this can't really compete with an Ultra Boost. And on top of that, they're gonna say, whoa, $250, and they're gonna put it right back down. But the whole idea is that eventually we should get to a point where recycled materials are used in place of regular materials and do the same job as them, the same function. They're like just as comfortable, just as durable, but at the same price point, right? That's the problem. It's like this fantastic shoe, I like it. It's innovative, it's cool, it's different, but it's $250, which is why I'm gonna, have to think about keeping these or not. This, is cool, but it's not worth $250, plain and simple, as much as I think these are pretty cool. Now, I like to think of where we're at right now, kind of like when, if you guys remember when the Toyota Prius first came out, right? It was like a first kind of electric-ish car. It was like half and half, it's a hybrid, right? And that's because naturally people, change is tough, as far as like human beings in general. And so now we do have like Teslas and other fully electric cars, but there's always gonna be a general gradual change. So this, I do think, first off, is a necessary step. And the fact that Adidas is kind of putting their foot out there, no pun intended, to do this, I think is hopeful for what we can see in the future. And I'm definitely excited to see what they do in the future. But my whole thing is, if they truly thought that this was the correct price point for a lot of consumers, I personally think they would have just put it out there on the Adidas website instead of making an Adidas app drop, having to create a little bit of hype around it, having to create a little bit of exclusivity around it in order to sell units. When they released the new Ultra Boost 21, right? They don't put that on the Adidas raffle app because it sells itself. People are gonna wanna buy that. They know there's gonna be enough volume of purchases, so they kind of put it out there and try to sell as many as they can. Here, it seems like to me that they know as well as I do that $250 in this shoe, they have to make it limited because that's the only way they're gonna get enough interest. I feel like if this was just put straight up on the site, maybe they get a lot of hits on it for people looking at it, but I feel like not a lot of purchases because it's $250. Like, people don't want this for $250. Like, people want more for $250. So on one hand, I'm happy to see some innovation, but on the other hand, I am a little disappointed how this was kind of put out there because it really isn't matched with their message. All this Parley branding, the Primeblue, right? They've created all these trademarks for all these names about how they're eco-friendly, and I don't think they're really here because they want consumers to be more conscious about the environment, to be more conscious about the products they're using. You know, to some of you that's quite obvious, you know, like, oh, of course the brand doesn't actually care if you're more sustainable, they just want to make an extra buck. But my thing is, if you can actually do this correctly, as a brand, you can make a couple more bucks. You can make a little bit more money if you do it correctly. This portion has a little more structure for the heel counter. And then as we wrap around, we get a much more prime nitty. If I pull, we get a much more, right, compared to back here, a little more structure. The inside, stitched on tongue there, we don't have like a separate pull-out tongue, which just seems to be kind of the wave with what consumers want and what Adidas has been doing recently. So I like where they're going, I like where their head's at. I'm excited to see what else they're gonna do. That's why I wanted to talk just a little bit about, you know, brands and how they're kind of marketing the way they do sustainability and things like that, as well as, you know, specifically about this shoe, a couple of the issues I had, and just wanted to provide my perspective on. But as per usual, since these are in my size 10, we are gonna throw them on feet. We're gonna take a look. And as usual, I'll mention the sizing for those of you who do wanna know. But apart from that, let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about all these Adidas Parley, Primeblue, 4D technologies? Please, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with me? If you don't, that's totally fine. I'm interested to hear your perspective as well. But if you could just smash that thumbs up button one more time, we're gonna hop into the on feet section. But for now, guys, Easy TV, signing off.